you say something?
Yeah, go.
Oh, my bad. I can't hear. I like internally burped a little bit when you said something. I'm like, that could have been my internal burp. It also
The internal burp.
Yeah, you know, the ones that you don't let out. It's just like, it's just internal.
That's so funny.
This is JK Games, the game podcast where we bring you the news and reviews we care about.
And this season, we're playing through one game at a time with our official video game book club.
Oh my God, that don't sound like Kayla.
Yeah, sorry.
You don't know. I think it's the perfect impersonation of Kayla. Great job. You're killing it already.
Okay, good.
Whether you're the 100 or the 1 to 100% every side quest,
or you're just here for the vibes and story,
easy mode or expert, you belong in our conversation. So glad you're here.
So grab your snacks and let's break it down one level at a time.
Oh, we're so cool. Oh, this is going to be a good show.
Wow.
We have surprise. That's not actually Kayla. Even though he did a great job with the introduction
Thanks.
What is it? What is this? Is it a slogan? A song? Like, what do we do? What is that called? A theme?
It's not a theme. It's not a motto. I guess the monologue. It's an intro. It's just an introduction, like you said.
But people don't do all that extra bits that we do every time. People don't do that anymore. I feel like people back in the olden days, and I'm talking like radio only days, did stuff like that. It's cheesy. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know?
I like it.
You do?
Yeah. I've done it another time. There was another time it was just me and you last year. It was probably about a year ago or something.
I don't know. I feel like if I was just in the car and I was like, oh my God, I really want to listen to a video game podcast because I don't have enough in my life. And I just stumbled across our podcast and I, hear the beginning, just like two people going back and forth. I'd be like, that's really cool. I'm going to keep listening. But maybe I'm just the weirdo.
Trav Man in chat says it's rigmarole or housekeeping or set dressing.
I love rigmarole.
Rigmarole is good.
That's a cool word.
Because also is like, it's not related to it, but B-roll is like a production term. So rigmarole is like adjacent.
Yeah.
It's B-roll adjacent.
Yeah, it's just B-roll for our tongues.
Exactly.
We need it. Me and Kayla. And now Josh.
Hey.
Stepping in, which, by the way, I'm Jerica, one of the hosts. And yes, the other voice is not Kayla. Kayla's on vacation, I think dipping her toes into some sand and some ocean water. Like, I think that's what Kayla's up to right now. So out of town, but Josh is not only stepping into the producer seat, he's also here to help co-host and lead us through a really interesting topic we have for this evening. So thank you, Josh, for doing both things tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me again. And, I've been kind of producing a little bit behind the scenes here and there, but it's fun to jump in every once in a while, flex the hosting muscles.
Yeah, and I'm so glad because like literally I sort of threw Josh, I'm not going to say a bone because I'm not like, here's an opportunity. It was really like, hey, I really have no idea what should we play and do next week until me and Kayla start doing Titanfall. So like, and there's a million games out, y'all. There's a million games. Many. And we'll talk to one of them I'm playing here in a bit. But I was like, what game can we play for 1 week only and have a pretty decent conversation? So Josh found us a game. We're going to get to it soon, but I was like, thank you, Josh. And I was reading some information and you had a lot of details to share about said game.
Yeah.
Which prompted this whole episode.
Exactly. I was just looking for a game and there's a lot of games out right now, but they're all really huge. So I was trying to look for something unique, maybe not being talked about as much. And then, once I started looking to it, it led me down this huge research rabbit hole. And I think at the end of this little teaser, I might give you guys a little reference material you can access on the Discord, which we'll talk about in a second. And just if you want to explore the topic further, because this is actually a good topic tonight. So,
yeah. And funny enough, one of the games that I'm going to mention too, I actually had Audrey play, and I'll sort of get to why here later. But I'm so like, this is the perfect conversation to have with all the things I've recently played. So yeah, just once again, Josh, thanks for putting all this together.
Yeah.
I literally did no work this week, which was great. It was really nice for me, and I appreciate it. I just played a video game today. That was nice.
It's great.
But before we dive into what this topic is entailing, I know you probably can see it in the title, but before we get really into it, I wanted to preface with doing what Kayla normally does, the loadout, because I suck at it. I'm gonna be honest. I always forget. I have a memory of a goldfish. You know this if you're here. But I wanted to remind everybody that, hey, you can buy JK Games merch. What the hell? It's out there, jkgamespodcast.com. Currently, I have 2 shirts on the way that I'm testing. Should be getting those in any day. It's a Backlog of Doom shirt. It looks real cool. And I cannot wait to show everybody what it looks like. But it will be a limited release that we do for October, because it's sort of, the shirt's got some spooky vibes. You know, you hear Backlog of Doom. I just imagine a demon coming out of the pit of hell and snatching me up for not playing all these video games. So it is a cool, scary tee that I can't wait to share with everybody. So that should be up soon, at least in time for October. But yeah, you'll get, if you're following along with us on socials and in our Discord, you'll be able to see when you can grab that shirt. It's probably my most, like, it's one of the best designs I've done to
It's a
date.
good one. I was impressed, really impressed. This is
It's
like, I
cool.
told Jerica, you could actually go into, commercial shirt design maybe. Cause
I
like,
know it's
pretty
a little
good.
bit of a passion.
It's pretty
So,
good.
and I actually started going down a rabbit hole with this, and I won't get into it. Here I go again. But this is a podcast. We talk about things. I follow a artist online, Archive7. I always forget like his full name. I just know Davey. It's not. It sounds like we're on a first name basis, but we sort of are, but not really. But his stuff is so freaking good. It's like retro anime mech style, uh like that whole aesthetic mixed with like bitmap like filters just
Yeah.
is my jam. It's my jam. I love all the work he does, and I buy every shirt that he puts out. So a lot of my inspiration actually came from like some of the work that he does. And I sent him a few messages, and I was like, one day when this show is making some kind of money, any kind of money, I want to collab with him and have him help me make a shirt.
Jerica's really good at just messaging people like that. You're just like, I
I'm a
like this
freak.
person. Boom. Just
I'm
message.
just like in everyone's
Yeah, yeah,
DMs.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like, I really like, I just love your stuff.
Mhm.
Please don't ever stop making things.
Yeah.
And had asked some questions about fonts and other various things so I don't get sued for using certain
Sure.
things. But no, it's been cool to sort of go through the creative part of designing the shirt. Okay, enough about the shirt. You're not here for that. But yeah, jkgamspodcast.com. Also, this Friday, you'll be joining me and a few members of Drop In, Drop Out. I think Jake's in there, Patrick, Cayman. I think that's everybody that's in on the Borderlands 4 action, because Borderlands 4 comes out on Friday. And if you don't know, it's one of my favorite games of all time. The series in a nutshell. There's been some hits. There's been some that didn't hit as well, but overall, I'm a big Borderlands fan. It's actually one of the first games me and my girlfriend played together on sort of like a little date situation. One of our first dates.
Borderlands is very romantic.
You're telling me. As soon as I saw the humor that we both aligned with, I was like, okay, this is a good sign. But we are both off from work, me and my girlfriend, to play that all day long. And then we are going to talk about it on Drop In, Drop Out. And then afterwards, we're going to be streaming it. So really exciting stuff for Borderlands. Josh, you like Borderlands? You ever played
I do.
Borderlands?
I played 1 and 2. I didn't play 3. I played some 1 and 2, but I not like to a crazy amount that like yourself or other people. So I just played casually. I like loot in games. So this is, it's a loot shooter, so I love that aspect. I like how the guns are very unique and different. But I didn't really like I don't really recall like a lot of the story or like anything like that. I was just mainly casually playing for the gameplay and stuff. But
Yeah.
they're fun. They're definitely fun.
Ugh. I love when I can get a gold or purple weapon.
Yeah,
That's like a
it's very
Destiny thing
satisfying.
too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
I
I
think,
love
there might not
exotics.
be, you might not get to Destiny without Borderlands. You know what I mean?
I'm true. It's true.
It's
Like, I can't wait to get into discussion.
yeah.
I'm starting to do it now. But God, I think Borderlands, definitely influenced a lot
It's got
of
a lot of influence.
first person shooters and things and other various things. But that's not the show tonight, so I'm going to move on from it. Anyways, hope y'all stay or tune in and check us out on that on Friday. And then was it next week? Yeah, God. Phew. Next week, me and Kayla, and I think Kayla's brother is going to join the show and talk all about Titanfall. We're going to kick off our Titanfall 2 uh, book club sesh, and that might be a 2 week, possibly 3 week long season of, I guess, Titanfall 2. So if y'all want to play that with us, now is the time. But if you want to just listen, if you've never played, it's been out for ages, and you just want to know if it's worth your time, also, you should join us and talk about it. I look forward to doing that too, because I've never played Titanfall 2.
Yeah,
Kayla has been on me about it.
what's funny is when it first came out, even though it's not long at all. I started it and I don't beat a lot of games, so something in either I don't think I beat it, even though it's really short. I don't know what
Josh,
happened.
what the heck?
Yeah, it's short. Or if I did, I just totally don't
I don't
remember.
know why I'm
So
getting on to you.
I
Like,
don't
I
know.
have also started
I'm
it
gonna
like
start it
once or
over
twice.
again with everyone.
Same.
So you know,
Ah, but
yeah,
yeah,
cool.
glad to get that off out my backlog of Doom, and Kayla will quit telling me that I need to play it, and then it's her turn to play Mass Effect, which is a big difference from one Titanfall 2 game versus a trilogy of a series, but it's coming. It's coming.
Well,
Okay.
I think we're gonna do some things a little differently. We did a little listener question of the week on Discord.
Oh, we're gonna do this.
I think we're gonna go ahead and do it
Okay.
now
Okay.
because it'll give you guys a little teaser about like our main topic tonight. But then we're gonna go back into easy mode. So I think this will be a fun little front load the teaser of the discussion, so you guys can be thinking. And so
Oh, I like it.
the question was, and that's the title of the stream. The title of the stream is, darkness, the dark side of cozy games. So, can a game still be considered and marketed as cozy if it contains exploration or depictions of death, grief, self harm, assault, things like that? Very heavy topics. Okay, that's the question. Can those things be in a game that is calling itself cozy? If you think so, do you think that the developers or publishers should be required to list content warnings since they're marketing it as cozy? Should developers be responsible for that? Do you think there should be almost like a ESRB style, like actual have to be on the label, something like that? Or do you think there should just be a separate genre like cozy horror or dark cozy or something like that? And so that was the question. And we have the first responder was, of course, Kayla, because she really wanted to be on this topic. But
She's on the beach, and she's
she's
still
gone. But
on like and
yeah,
not even just an easy topic. She's
I
like,
know.
let me chime in. I'm ready.
So this is Kayla's. We should have had her pre-record it from the ocean, in the
Oh,
like
oh.
swimming. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it could have been
Uh,
a dark side of cozy, because you think
yeah,
you're cozy on the beach until there's a shark.
exactly. Kayla says, yes, I think cozy games can explore those topics. I think they often do, actually. Typically, from my experience, it is more of an underlying theme or a non direct one. I do think you should be required to list trigger or content warnings. Something I think they are getting better at. Example, Close to the Distance, the effect of loss on a small town and their interconnected trauma. This is more straightforward in theme, but is still cozy in its gameplay, in my opinion. Grease. Whole game is exploring the different stages of grief and coming to terms, but the art style and gameplay are very vibey and cozy. Wanderstop, cozy tea shop management, but talking to customers about tough moments in their lives. I also think cozy horror is a newly emerging subgenre, and I'm here for it. So that's a great response. And these are all topics we will be discussing later in the episode. And I also wanted to give a shout out to friend of the show, Cognitive Clips, who was in here earlier as well. And Cognitive Clip says, I think it can, but do agree some of those need content warnings to go along with them. With the example of Greece as well, you can have a game with no true combat and with exploration and puzzles, often associated with coziness while still exploring heavier themes. So it sounds like our respondents tonight do think that you can explore that, in a cozy game, but maybe with some warning. What do you think, Jerica?
Absolutely, these topics should and can be explored. Like I think in any time something that isn't talked about in a certain medium as much, when it starts getting explored like that, and especially like with a video game where you are like literally in the shoes of another character, I think there's a lot of runway for seeing the, I don't know, just like what it would be like. Cause I think about Hellblade, just this
Yeah.
character, Senua's like dealing with, a lot of psychosis and a lot of not really knowing what is reality. And and obviously they do a really good job of like disclaiming like what you will expect, maybe what to, maybe you don't want to play this in case you're sensitive to this. But it's cool, like certain stories and types of um maybe mental challenges that people have and diagnoses that you get to explore in a game is really, to me, very cool. But also on the flip side, like you got to be really upfront with the content. And I think there are some games that have missed the mark with using it as like not a jump scare, but a surprise or like
Yeah.
a selling point of the game, right? To trick you into you expecting a cozy game. You think that's what you're about to play. Then there's a total like 180 and you're like, whoa, I didn't expect that. And you don't get enough information. So I think the player should be overloaded with all the information for what you might experience. But I love that this content or these topics are being explored in video games.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to add too much to that because I totally agree with everything you're saying, and what a lot of the people are saying here, at least. And we have Ryan Selvey live in our chat right now saying, "I think they can touch on those topics, but as a respect for the genre and the community, there should either be disclaimers and/or settings to change the severity of topics in the same way you can turn off sex scenes in Baldur's Gate." So yes, this is a perfect. Put a pin in this. This is going to be part of our discussion a little bit later in the episode. All great points that were brought up. And I also agree that I think you can explore these themes, but maybe it should be advertised a little bit, or at least either a warning in the game, or like Ryan saying, some kind of setting where you can maybe modify it. I'm in the last few years I've been really big on like accessibility ever since really Celeste. I know a lot of games have done it, but Celeste was a good example of accessibility to me, where you can just turn off being damaged or turn off whatever, because it's like,
Yeah.
just whatever you want to do. If you want it to be easy, if you want it to be hard, just go for it. So same thing with content. I think there should be options for people. So this is something we will dive deeper into expert mode. But
God, I can't wait to
yeah,
get into it when we talk about old Silky Thong.
I kind of
I mean,
wanted
Silk
to, yeah,
Song.
we can, and well, good segue. So, we preloaded the question just so we can kind of get the people who are here at the top of the hour to like, hear what we're going to talk about later. But yeah, let's circle back to easy mode and talk about what we've been playing. So, Jerica, let's start with you.
I've been Hollow Knighting all the Silks all week. Some might ask me, a professional gamer, should I play Hollow Knight before playing Silksong? Hollow Knight Silksong. And I'm like, no, I've only played 3 hours of the first one. The new one's out. They've spent like 10 years on it. Why would I not just play the new one that's out right now? So hell yeah. I just jumped into Silksong just 2 to 3 hours into Hollow Knight, the regular one, the vessel, as they say, the vessel. And I'll say you don't need to play it. I think you're fine. I watched a YouTube video. I got caught up. It was hard. This one's hard too, and you're not missing much. But
Do you
I
remember the
will.
last time with Death Stranding 2, you told people they don't have to play Death Stranding 1.
You
Everyone got
don't.
mad at you.
Everybody did. And if the Death Stranding folks got mad about it, I know the Silksong people, Hollow Knight people, whatever they call the fandom, the vessels, they're gonna hate me for the rest of my life. But I truly don't think if everyone else is playing Silksong and you want to be in on the action and also maybe hate yourself because the game is really hard. So just know you're also going to hate yourself. But hey, it's $20 to hate yourself and have a pretty decent time if you like the challenge. The game's beautiful. One thing that I will say about both games, what's always drawn me to them is just the hand drawn look they have. Literally, my girlfriend's playing off to the left, so I'm just watching her play. And just the environments, the attention to detail, but it's still so simple. Like they don't overwhelm you with a whole lot unless you're in like a boss fight and certain enemies. But the atmosphere, the tone of everything is just so cute. To me, it's so cute. This world is cute. It's sort of creepy, but it's so cute. All the characters. I found the little bug that's got the bell and the stick. She's like, and it's so cute. Like I love this game so much, but God, Josh, it hates me so much. This game hates people that want to play it. It hates people that want to enjoy the atmosphere. But I will say this. I don't like to play really hard games. I don't. I don't really. I mean, I really want to enjoy Elden Ring, but I just can't get past I can only get to the castle wherever you go first and then just die and I give up. I'm able to play Silksong. I'm like 8 hours into it and I've beaten a few bosses. I'm getting really good at jumping around. Has it taken me like 20 tries to do certain scenarios? Yes, it has. But it's doable. And I'm going to be really sad because when Friday comes, I'm going to be playing Borderlands. And I'm never going to see how this ends up for Hornet. I'm just trying to figure out what's at the end of the road for Hornet. Will I ever see it? Probably not. But I probably could if there was some settings in here to make it easier, Josh.
Full circle.
I brought it in.
You brought it in.
I really want to see how this plays out, but I probably won't be able to because I can't play this for a whole year. And that's how long it probably will take me based on the challenge.
This debate comes up a lot with FromSoft games in particular. Elden Ring, it came up, which is it's back to the accessibility versus design thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because this came up with Elden Ring, and all the FromSoft fans were really defending it, being like, well, if this is too difficult, or if you just can't get through it, maybe it's just not the game for you, or maybe I know the get good is like a meme, but essentially that people just saying, well, you need to practice or just keep trying.
I don't have time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't have time.
I'm with you. I think there could be more options, because and I'm not trying to say like game development is easy. It obviously took them 6 years to make this, but it is honestly relatively easy to have a little menu option to give you infinite health or to whatever, infinite money or bug juice or whatever. Rosaries, whatever.
Yeah, now I'm collecting beads.
And so I am more on the side of accessibility, because for people who want it to remain a challenge, then just don't do that. It doesn't harm anyone.
Just do it. If anything, you have more people buying your $20 amazing game, which is also, I think they should have charged more. People are going to hate me for saying that too. They should charge more for this game and added those features if they needed it. But I know they just did it because they're like, look at me, look at us. This game's only $20. We're setting a standard.
Clips in chat says, I've been saying this and will continue to say it. Silksong is a type of game that is hard for the sake of being hard and at the expense of actually being interesting with how they use difficulty. I don't disagree with that. Kayla says easy mode rules. Yeah, easy mode. Come on, easy mode.
And there might be some things I find throughout, but based on just my girlfriend's facial expression just earlier when I went back upstairs, I just saw her sitting on the bench and her face just looks so full of despair. She beat Celeste, so she's more in tune with Metroidvanias than I am.
Celeste is hard.
And she's having a challenging time already too, and I'm just terrified of how much harder it gets. But I'm able to do it. I'll say this, gamers, I can game. I can get good. It's just the getting good is taking too long. And it's only been 7 hours, but I'm just like, there's too much to play.
Here's my pitch for Team Cherry. There's 3 of them. I think they added a 4th team member for PR. My pitch to be the 5th Team Cherry member, okay? You've made I don't know how many millions. Let's say you made $50 million off this game, probably for a split with four people. I'll do this for you for $80,000. Okay, that's like nothing, right? Okay, here's my pitch. Hire me. It'll take me like 6 months. Okay, so that's pretty small in the 6-year Silksong time frame. This can be DLC. Hire me, $80,000, 6 months of work. Okay, because I can just Google how to like program this. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a mode for Silksong. I could just mod. I can make a mod be really
Make a
famous.
mod.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to be a little bug ghost. Okay. And I just want to float around and like fly around the world and like say hi to some of the people and not get hurt by enemies and listen to the cool music and look at the nice environment. And I just want to fly around as my little bug ghost. I don't want to fight anyone. I don't want to fight a boss. I don't want to hit these spikes. Just let me be a little bug ghost floating around.
In this world.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. It's so cute. Like all the other bugs are so like obviously there's some meanings, but like I just want to hang out with these bugs. And I want to see what's at the end. And I can't because I'm getting my head beat in by this thing, this huge spiked thing that just randomly comes out of the ceiling when you least expect it.
And I know, like, and you're a Destiny raider, so you also understand the throwing yourself at a problem for hours and the satisfaction. Yeah, basically.
But it feels
the satisfaction
really good.
when you finally do it, it's one of the best feelings.
It is.
But leave that for people who want to experience that. But let everyone else fly around as a little bug ghost.
Yeah, I want to be able to see all this. I want to see what happens to Hornet.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great point with this game. So are you further than Audrey or is she further?
She is now officially further.
Yeah.
Because I have to do a podcast I have to play other games for a podcast.
Oh, no.
So I got behind. Now she's ahead of me.
Bummer. I think I kicked my power supply.
Yay! Yeah, I'm trying to see what area she's in. What area are you in, Audrey? Where are you at? The Marrow? The Marrow. That's where Audrey's at.
That one has good music. I did a music review.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
High Score Weekly. That's my socials.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out. Yeah.
I did a soundtrack review.
God, this game's just gorgeous.
The soundtrack's very good.
The music, yeah.
Hey, we're sitting on today.
Great.
This is hot news, but today the Open Critic, it's sitting on 100 review score and 100 user review score.
God bless America.
Which is pretty wild. So
that's insane. Do you think this take home game of the year over Expedition 33?
I think
because it's going to be between those two or Blueprints. Like I feel like those are the hot three.
I think Expedition 33 could still do it just because the story connected with so many people. And this is like not to downplay this, it does have a story, but this is more of a pure gameplay type game, which is good in itself too. This is a good game. So I think it just depends on if people want to lean towards like, these are both indies technically. And so kind of the story heavy indie that connected with people in a very deep way, or the most anticipated game of the year or the decade almost, right? People have been waiting for this and just the pure gameplay aspect of it. So, because like you said, if you've played Hollow Knight, you've kind of played a lot of this too. So it's a little bit, it's a direct sequel. So it's kind of derivative, but.
Yeah, I wish I could really compare like what's newer about this one, because I do feel like you have way more moves, but I don't know because I've never unlocked them.
Cognitive Clip says it's a vague Souls-like story just like the first one. Again, not a bad thing, but certainly not a heavy-hitting, emotionally resonant narrative like E33. Yeah, exactly. Well, is that all you wanted to talk about Silksong? I think that was a good discussion.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm done.
Nice.
I'm going to keep playing it after this and see how far I get before I start playing Borderlands. But after that, goodbye, Hornet, for a few months.
I'm going to talk about what I've been playing.
To the end of the year.
Aside the game that we both kind of played for this, I've been playing a new demo that came out for a game that's maybe not coming out until like potentially 2027. It's alpha. It's a Kickstarter. Okay, their I'm giving you the teaser for this. Okay. Their Kickstarter went live, and within 2 hours it was funded. They were asking for like $30,000 or something, and it's already now almost 400% funded. They're already at like almost $200,000. Um, so the Kickstarter just it went crazy. So let me pitch this to you, and then I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna pull up the B-roll. Okay. Hopefully I don't. So I don't think I'll monitor it. I don't think there's any more audio jump scares for any of our B-roll.
Oh man.
So have you ever played Sonic Adventure 1 or 2?
Of course, I played
Okay.
both.
You know the little Chao Garden, right?
Yes,
So
Josh,
okay. Yeah.
You know, I had the
I just
little
make
memory
sure.
card thing I put in my
Yeah.
Dreamcast
Oh yeah, the
controller.
VMU.
Yeah.
That is the best way to experience the Chao because you could take it with you like a Tamagotchi. Is so good. I had that too.
Yeah, hell
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't
So
realize you
cool.
had that too. Okay,
I was deep in
so
the chows.
you got the Chao Garden.
Chow
This
chow.
this game on Kickstarter, it is like the Chao Garden, but it's like if you took Chao Garden and combined Kirby Air Ride into one game. Okay,
How did I didn't know this existed. How did I miss this,
it's brand
Josh?
new. I'm playing the
Yeah,
B-roll now. It's called Star Garden. It's
brand new.
on. Jake says Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah, this is a brand new game. Check out the demo. The game's not coming out for like again like probably until 2027. It's a Kickstarter. They only wanted 30,000. They're getting 200,000. So I think they're based out of Atlanta too, which is cool. Southern little game devs.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
So
Okay.
the basic gameplay, as you can see in the little trailer, the soundtrack's good. It's like very jungle drum and bass, so it's very Dreamcast, early 2000s PlayStation kind of soundtrack.
This is
And
dope.
basically, you have like a little Chow garden, and you raise the little creature, the star creature, or whatever. They're not, it's not called the same things. And then you can go into this mode that's exactly like Kirby Air Ride, and they have both a racing mode and the city trial mode. And what it is your little Chow creatures turn into the little vehicles you ride in the other mode. And so then you can earn things in that Kirby Air Ride mode and bring it back to the Chow Garden to like level up the Chow and like do their stats and everything. Kind of like in Sonic Adventure 2, you collect the little things in the levels.
Yeah.
But in this one, the levels are Kirby Air Ride essentially. And so this is Rising the Ranks is one of my most anticipated games. The demo I've been playing it's really fun, but it is very like proof of concept kind of like early, but you can see that they know what they're doing as far as like, you can tell when someone's like passionate about something. Like myself, this is so niche. I never thought I'd be playing a Chow Garden Kirby Air Ride game. And so this is like right up my alley.
I love the logo. Like I
yeah,
want this
it's
on
really
a shirt.
cool. It's really fun.
The aesthetic.
They're doing like a manga too, as like part of
the.
the Kickstarter.
Well, can I sign up? Can I give them
I backed
more
it.
money?
Yeah, oh yeah, you can still back it. It's still going. And so I don't know. I'm just really excited about this. The demo is on Steam. And again, like it's a short demo. It's just to give you like proof of concept. I think they call it like alpha. Kayla says looks so nostalgic. Yeah, it really feels like it's from like
it reminds me of my Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's interesting with Kirby Air Riders coming out on Switch 2. But I don't think this is like I don't think that's really gonna hurt this because this is a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's more of like the retro Kirby Air Ride experience. You can play this online, locally or like online with people. And now that they've got way more money than their Kickstarter, it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize those funds. Maybe they can polish it even more than they were intending to. I don't know.
Awesome.
I'm in their Discord. They have a Discord too. So,
well, shoot, we're going to show up. We're close to them. We're going to show up.
Yeah, we'll just show up
on
their
doorstep. I'm like, hey, I want to go. Yeah, let's go interview them.
Yeah.
This is neat.
It's really cool.
Okay.
And so that's what I've been playing that demo. That's what I've been playing. So yeah. So you want to get into our little normal mode now?
Let's get into it.
Yeah. So for everyone just joining us, this is going to be the normal mode where we are doing our little review of our Whisper of the House game. Technically it is part of a video game book club. This was a quick pick just for like 1 week. And so, it was a quick little thing. I did beat the game. It took me about 5 hours. And Jerica's put multiple hours in. I don't think you beat it quite yet, though, right?
And no, but I just watched your B-roll and I was like, that's where I'm supposed to put the Shibu Emu. How do I say that dog's name? I'm
Shiba Inu. Yeah, you got it.
No, I didn't. I said Shibu Emu.
Oh my gosh.
That's the combination between that dog and an ostrich, basically. I just saw where to put the glass wall which I'm like, who's got
Oh,
a
I didn't know
glass
where to put
wall?
that. Honestly, I didn't know where to
And I
put that.
saw like where they put it in this video, and I'm like, oh damn, that makes more sense. No, but I played most of the day, Josh,
Yeah.
and I was not expecting the level of detail in some of
Hmm.
the management or in the well, just the house decorating, because you know that's my shit. So
Yeah. You played recently on stream. What was that game? You got a key for it.
my cozy apartment or something
Yeah.
like that. It was not great.
Right. I remember.
It was not this. This nailed it.
I think so. What's interesting in this, there's a story mode, which, like I said, took me about 5 hours to complete, and I didn't do much of the sandbox other stuff. So there's a story mode. The basic premise is you're like new to the town, and you're hired as like almost like a contract cleaner or like organizer, essentially, kind of like a home decorator or organizer. And basically, what happens is you you kind of go through like, how should I put it? What's the best way to put this? You have different clients that come to you. And what's cool about the story mode that I appreciated is that um the basic premise is you're like unpacking, kind of like unpacking things a little bit, but you're
Yeah.
unpacking into this room, right? Like all these different objects, and you're figuring out where to put it or whatever. But it isn't really grading you, like you might have noticed this. It doesn't really like matter. Technically, you could just throw it all on the ground, which is
I
funny.
know. And I was just like,
Um,
give me a score because you
yeah,
did
there's no
really good.
score. So I do think that plays into like the cozy aspect because it's very low pressure. Technically you don't have to do a good job at the actual organizing, but within that basic premise, the different clients have different requirements. And that's when it does get a little more picky because sometimes they will have requirements of like, okay, this is exactly where I want you to put these things, and it shows you.
Yeah,
So
that
it's
threw
not too hard
I was
either.
like, that was
Yeah.
strange. I was like, at least if it's gonna give me like specifics, like this person wants this a certain way, I was really thrown by like it showing me
It
where to
shows
put
you
it.
exactly where to put it and you
I was
just
like, this is
drag it,
weird.
right?
Okay.
So that's interesting. Sometimes you're cleaning up like dirt or grime. And there was an interesting storyline where later you're kind of packing up um someone's stuff who like no longer lives somewhere, and so you're kind of learning about this character as well because you just have access to all their stuff, and you're like looking at pictures or looking at little notes and different things. And I think that's where the game is at its best. And I think that's what they're going for, is like these little side stories with all these little characters, and you're kind of viewing people's world through their stuff, right? And I don't know if it hits the mark all the time with that, but I think when it does, that's when it's the most compelling, from like a narrative standpoint, because you're kind of like, wow, what is this house? Who is this person? And it'd be like, oh, here they have a TV. Oh, they have a video game system. Oh, look,
Yeah,
they have these
yeah.
games. And so it's kind of really interesting. Even books, there's like a lot of books in this game.
There's
We just did
way more books than
yeah,
I was like, oh God, am I playing another
I
book
know you
game?
just did Tiny Bookshop, right? And that had a lot of real books. This has the fictional books again,
Yeah.
but still, even that you can see like the kind of books this person
There was a
has, the
lot of
titles of them.
yeah, yeah,
There's a
you could
lot.
like you can tell the genres. Like there's not just yeah, they're fake books, but they're different types of fake books. So like
Yeah.
you can learn a little bit about yeah, Trav Man said this sounds like unpacking. A lot of any time I was putting up stuff, I immediately was like, this is what I loved about unpacking is the unpacking. But unpacking does it really well. And I think this game does that too, where I was really surprised by the customization of where you can put objects. With unpacking, like
Yes.
you're pretty much limitless with where you can put things and put stuff inside of things, opening cabinets, putting stuff in, which this game isn't as deep, but it went a lot deeper than I expected. And I caught myself just organizing my house way more than going out into the world, Josh, as soon as I
Okay, so
started.
yeah, you did the opposite. So I kind of skipped a lot of that because you, like Jerica mentioned, you can have your own house, and later you can unlock other houses so they have different layouts.
You're gonna have to, because I'm like, now I got this
Yeah,
like jacuzzi tub,
yeah,
like pool thing that I could probably have 5 people in. And I'm like, this
and
won't fit in my tiny bathroom.
so aside from the main story where you're taking people's stuff and fitting it into a house, you have your own collection of items, and there's shops and you can buy
I have loot
items. And yeah, it's
boxes.
loot boxes. I love the loot boxes. And you like, so you can like get book loot boxes or furniture loot boxes or carpet loot boxes. And those are items you can use. And like Jerka's saying, she spent a lot of time decorating her own house. So there's no time limit or
I gotta
goal or
get a
anything.
screenshot and
It's
send it to you
just
like right
for
now.
like making your own, however you want to do it. And so you enjoyed that aspect, right?
I did. very much so. So much so, I'm gonna boot up the game real quick, and since I'm not running the stream, won't mess me
Yeah,
up.
no
I'm
problem.
gonna send you a screenshot of
Okay.
my place and how cool it looks.
Do it in Discord. I can drop it in.
Okay.
So I think what's cool is sometimes with these games, I get a little overwhelmed. Like, I don't know, like, there's so many items that I'm like, well, I don't know, like, what I get decision paralysis, right? I don't know, like, what to put where. But I was impressed by something about the design of this. It made it where, like, because you're only, I think what it is you're not just having a list of like all this person's junk and you're like, here's the bed. Let me put the bed over here, like, whatever. You're getting each item one at a time and you don't know what's next, almost like Tetris, right? So it'd be like,
Yeah.
you're like, you go to your little robot and you're like, okay, let's see what's next. And it'll be like, here's a can of soda. And you're like, oh, okay, a can of soda. I can go here.
Cool.
And then it's like, okay, let's see what's next. You don't have no idea. And the next bit, oh, here's a shower curtain or whatever. Like, oh, okay, that goes in the bathroom. We'll put it right here. So I think that's what it is. I didn't think
It
about that until right now.
it really reminds me of like Animal Crossing. Like
Yeah,
you, to your point, like you're not given so much stuff that it's overwhelming, but you're just drip like you want more and more things. So like
hmm
when you get a few new items, it was for me like I was eager to find a place for it in the house. And I think as I've been going through the game though, I do have tons of things now. And I think they pulled sort of like, I mean, it's the same system, sort of like The Sims. Like they make it really easy to organize like what type of item you're looking for. Cause there's a lot of things in this game, Josh. There's a lot of items you
there's a
could put in your house.
lot.
And I'm so glad they have a search bar. Like you can
Yeah,
actually
there's a search
type
bar. Sometimes
what you're looking
it's
for.
okay. Sometimes it was a little hard to find things. Travman says the pixel art is gorgeous. That is what initially
It's so pretty.
attracted me to it, and what I was impressed. I don't know if you've ever worked in pixel art. I've tried to learn pixel art all the time, and this has like an isometric view, a three-quarters view, so like that kind of diagonal kind of look. And what I was impressed with is a lot of things you can rotate and flip, and so that means not just like a book doesn't just have one pixel art. It has an inverse of it and it has a flip to the side version. So not only do they had to make all these things in pixel art, but some things they had to make multiple different versions of because you can rotate things and flip them different ways. And so I was really impressed by that as well. And the art, you can zoom out really far. Like you can kind of see in some of these clips, you can zoom out really far so it looks very crisp, or you can like zoom in and then it looks a little more, pixelated. But yeah, the art is one of the best parts of the game. Um, Let me know when you send that picture. I'll pull it up.
Well,
But while you do
funny, I was
that,
just trying to remember how to do a screenshot
okay,
on Windows, and it has
you could do
HDR on.
the
I have
snip
HDR on,
feature.
so it
Yeah, it's
like the
okay.
picture looks really messed
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just disregard that, everybody.
And so, what I think is cool is too, there is like this little overworld that you after you leave your house, you can actually explore the city, and you can find little money on the ground. You can clean up in the city too. That actually reminded me of Kayla. Um, because I know Kayla likes to like straighten things. And so it just seemed like it was funny because you could just be walking and like pick up a piece of trash or something like that. Um, but I think what's cool is, you know, there's a narrative too. And so as you go along, you kind of learn more about the different little townspeople. And you'll notice it's not really advertised in here, but there's like these weird, mysterious little dark spots sometimes you can find in houses. And when you click on those, it's like warpy looking, like these purplish dark spots. And you kind of get like a weird sense about those. Do you know what's going
And
on with that,
at one
Jerica?
point, I was like, "Am I playing Expedition 33?" Because there's a number outside of the museum, and
Mm,
it keeps going down. And I
yeah,
noticed every time I'd find one of these little weird objects, I'd click on really hard to say "cleanse." I don't know what's going on
yeah,
story wise,
cleanse.
and I just like I started noticing the number on the that's above the museum is going down, and any item I cleanse shows up inside the museum.
There you go. Okay, so yeah, like she said, there's some weird stuff going on. There's a big pyramid museum, and
Illuminati.
there's a number that just keeps going down, basically. And so it's kind of very strange. Like it's got a weird kind of feeling to it.
I feel like
Um,
it's not what we think it is, what's happening.
And I did beat the
Something.
game, so I'm not going to spoil it for people who want to play it. It's
Oh.
it's pretty short, but yeah, there's a reason for it. here's your. I just pulled it into for the viewers. Um, she's got a cozy little house,
Mm-hmm.
and it has you have those little presents down there too.
Yeah,
That
those
and those are from
more
helping people.
gifts. Yeah, I
Yeah.
help people
Did you
all the
know
time.
if you open your storage, you can drag those into your storage to kind of put them away without destroying them?
I hate that you can't destroy them though.
I
Like
love
you
your
can destroy
walls.
everything.
You have vinyls,
Uh-huh.
pictures. Yeah, it looks good. Your house
Uh-huh.
looks good.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love decorating.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Thanks.
And
Thanks.
so I think this kind of brings us to a little bit of, well, before we really get into it. So my final verdict on this game is that I want a little bit more on the. I think the gameplay is actually really fun. It's really like the sound effects are really good too. Just
Mm-hmm.
like you pick up a little can or like a little piece of paper or a little book. You know, it has really satisfying sound effects of like picking up things and dropping them and like clicking on them. And there's things you can interact with. The pixel art is gorgeous. The gameplay is fun. The gameplay loop is fun. Like I said, the different clients have different like little twists to the gameplay. So I love all that. The music's really cool. I like this little overworld. I think where it falls flat a little bit is some of the narrative, because I think I can see what they're trying to do with like learning about these characters through their things. But it's still a little bit obscure. I would like if it was tied into more, because you still talk to some of the NPCs and your clients, but sometimes it feels like I don't know who this person is. They act like they know me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
And
mean,
then
this
it's like,
one lady was like,
yeah,
"Come over,
yeah,
stay the night with me. I'm
yeah,
scared." And then
yeah,
someone's living in her attic. So sorry.
yeah,
And it was scary.
yeah. And
There's some
so
weird stuff in there.
that's kind of like it is weird. And so this will tie into our expert mode, which we're about to get into. I think I personally would give this game, I actually would give it like a 7 out of 10. It probably isn't even that high, really. It's probably like a 6 out of 10. I actually really
That's
did
what
enjoy it.
I landed. I'm so far, I'm
Yeah.
at a 6. Like it,
Yeah.
and it's something that like literally if there wasn't other things going on,
Yeah.
Silksong, I would probably play this more tonight because I had such a great I enjoyed my time like in this world decorating and like helping people
Yeah.
organize there was one guy's old man's room or house I went to that was just filthy and it was so
Yes.
satisfying to clean it and put
Yeah.
everything up. Oh,
Hmm.
it was fun.
And so it's good, but there is some work to be done. I don't know if they're going to be continued support or updating it. But there's a little bit of work to be done. And so, you know, I really like the vibe and the strangeness of the town itself. And the more you play, you kind of get more of these strange moments. And I don't want to get too far into that, but you know, there's some interesting stuff that you uncover.
There's some
And so,
I'm not spoiling anything, but
yeah,
I'm like, does it am I have I been on the dark web? That's
it's
what I was
something like that,
wondering.
right? It
Did
has
I
like a
make
weird
someone mad?
it has
What's
a
happened? I'm
like
just a
someone's like
cleaning
following
lady,
you or
okay?
something. Yeah.
I'm just trying to clean up the
There's a
town.
weird vibe to it.
Yeah,
And
it's weird.
so, yeah. Description wise, it reminds me of Closer to Distance, Kayla says. Yeah, a little bit. And so this brings us a little bit to our expert mode, okay? And the expert mode for tonight is dark cozy games, right? And so that's what our topic is. That's what the question of the day was about. And so I'm going to guide us through this, but this ties into this game because this is how the topic came up. We were looking at this game to do like a short, it's only a couple hours, looks kind of cozy. Let's just throw this in for like an in between before Titanfall 2. Well, as I look into it, I'm reading about it. I find on Reddit, and now I've found also on their Steam page, there was a bit of a controversy with this game because they released a demo earlier in the year of this game, and it basically you know, it's this cozy game you can see from the picture that's playing, uh and eventually you would find this hidden room in a client's house, and it basically was set up to be like it looks like a kidnapping room. Essentially there was some
Yeah, found
handcuffs.
it.
Well, they've
No, there's
changed
another
it.
room.
No, I know what you're
Oh,
talking about, so we'll talk about that.
what?
But initially the room was, it had some cameras in it. It had a bed. It had some handcuffs.
Oh
It
God.
was real weird. And people were like,
Oh,
hey, like, what? Because, you know, people looking for cozy games, they have a certain expectation in their mind, right? Like, what is a cozy game? And so, um, all of a sudden they're playing this game and there's like this very strange subplot that there's like maybe a kidnapper in town, maybe kidnapping, maybe potentially children, and who knows what this room is for, right? And so this was a controversy on Steam and on the subreddit, Cozy Game subreddit, and they eventually had to do an apology letter. And they said, "Hey, we realized that some of this content we didn't intend to be harmful. It caught people off guard. We deeply apologize for this. We're changing it in the game." Their apology created a controversy, not what you'd expect though, not because people thought it
Huh.
was disingenuous, but because a lot of people wanted them to keep it in, but just put a content warning. Okay. And we're going to talk about this a little bit, but I think what Jerica Kayla says should be a content warning with that. Yeah. And that's something we I think all agree on, that games with weird stuff like that, especially when if it's so off the marketing, definitely should have a content or trigger warning. But Jerica, explain now, they did change it. Explain what you experienced in the game.
So this was the same room, I guess, and they've changed it up. So like I helped this. It's pretty early in the game,
Yeah. It's the
and
first client, I believe.
yeah, and she's like, thanks for helping me unpack and unloading everything. Do you mind coming over at night? Because I'm hearing some weird sounds at night. It sounds scary, and even in the bathroom, I'm hearing it. So I go in over there. I'm looking around, inspecting things. I go to the bathroom, don't see anything. So I go upstairs to the bedroom, and then I noticed like the one of the behind one of the framed like portraits on the wall, like there's a crack in the wall. So of course I slide in there, and inside there's a lot of candles, there's a lot of food on the ground. It's like they've had someone sneak in and that's been living in the attic. We don't know for how long. There's all this gibberish on the walls and candles. Maybe at a glimpse you would think someone's trying to channel a demon here, or
Mm-hmm.
someone's just been it's doing drugs. Like I don't know. Could be one or the other. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of game I'm playing. And like, is this rooted in reality, or is this like, am I dealing with demons and monsters? Like, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah.
Or it's just some, you know, unhoused person like stuck in the attic just trying to
Mm-hmm.
survive.
And so I think that's what they basically changed it to, is essentially something like that, like a squatter. But it also is definitely like some disturbing elements to that. Like you said, some scribbling, some notes that seem kind of disjointed. And so I will say, just as someone who has completed the game, it's nothing too crazy. So I think initially you come across, there's little moments like this where there's almost like a darkness, or they call it just a mystery behind the village or something, a weird mystery. And there's this pyramid with a number that's counting down, and these little weird corrupted looking spots that you're cleansing, and this weird, yeah, room with like a squatter in it essentially. And so I think that their page still doesn't necessarily have a content warning, but that by the end of it, you kind of, it's not what you think. Maybe it's not too bad. It's not like, not too crazy. I think it still fits within like a
But
cozy
on
kind of
the
a
flip
genre. But
side,
yeah,
I I would love
yeah.
to have that be
Well,
a part of this game.
and
I
that's what a lot
would.
of people said. A lot of people said they actually thought it was very interesting to explore something dark like that, such a contrast with the cozy aesthetic, but it would definitely need a content warning. And so it's
Yes.
interesting. They haven't said why. I think they just went the route of just taking it out, but that's kind
So
of
I'm
the
curious
discussion. That's
because
our
like
discussion for tonight.
based on what I've played there and then afterwards, I will say based on other things I've seen in the game, that would be a little sort of outside of what I think this game's trying to do. Like if it's just that one-off scenario and it didn't continue that narrative down the path, like of if they would have kept that in, it wouldn't make sense unless they're doing something with that
Yeah,
part of
of
the narrative.
course. Not just to have it
So
in as a shock value.
maybe it was in there just for shock
It
value, and
could
that's why
be.
they took it out. Like because if there's nothing else that plays onto that, or a
Yeah, I
situation
know what
where
you
you
mean.
think, do you think if it was left in there, could it make sense?
It's hard to say like how much they change later to because
Okay.
of that. And as of now, like how it's set up now, it might have just been an, for shock value. Things do tie in together. The weirdness ties into a central thing, but um not necessarily like a through line with someone like that. There's a
Okay.
lot of separate weird things, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
there's like a reason why there's separate weird things, but it wouldn't have been like this one like creepo like causing the whole thing. So
Okay. Okay.
probably best for them to take it out on
Yeah,
in this
it's
case.
probably why they did it. They're like,
Yeah,
okay, we
and
just
just
did that
change it
for
a little bit.
funsies, like just to have a fun
And really, they just
experience.
changed the decoration of it, essentially, right? Is what it
Yeah.
seems like. So because of this is the topic, so let's kind of take a step back and actually just decide. We're going to decide right here. We're going to solve it for the
We're
world.
we're gonna
What
we're gonna do it, Josh.
what is
Let's
a
solve
cozy
this
game? What is a
problem
cozy
because
game?
I'm the perfect one to do this because like
What's a
I like
cozy
the
game?
best of both worlds.
Wow.
Cozy's something that I can sit in here and play
Mhm.
for hours and just like forget about the world. And I'm just having a good time. There's not a timer. There's not a game telling me that you
Okay.
suck and it's hitting me with all these bugs with things flying out of the ceiling and killing me. It's chill. There's a good soundtrack. I feel cozy. Like this game is literally a blanket around my
Okay.
soul.
Yeah. And so Travman in the chat says, let's outline it. Kayla was in here. If you're still in here, yeah. Go ahead and tell us what you think defines a cozy game. And that's a good one. Jerica, what is one of the earliest cozy games you can remember playing?
Uh this is the thing I'm worst at. I'm the worst at. Hold on. Let me
Just soft. It doesn't have to be the actual one, but something that comes to mind.
I mean literally because we've been playing this, I'm thinking about unpacking.
Okay, yeah. And
So
Travman says, take me back to Harvest Moon 64.
oh
For
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, for me it was Harvest Moon on Super Nintendo. So that was a while ago. That was definitely like one. I would think Sim City is also like
Oh, I played
I know that's
a
not
lot of
really it's not
SimCity.
in the cozy genre. It's in a management genre because I think there's some stressful things that can happen, but you can play it in a way that is cozy. Um,
Yeah.
but Harvest Moon is definitely, I would say, a cozy game. Harvest Moon 64. You said what, unpacking? That one is for sure.
Unpacking.
Yeah.
And I'm even thinking of like Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley for
You don't
sure.
have to do the
Yeah.
challenging things. It
No.
can be a real chill experience. A lot of farming in
Hmm.
my coziness, A lot of moving and decorating. Animal Crossing, duh.
Yeah,
Animal
Animal
Crossing.
Crossing is a huge one. So that brings me, yeah, let's talk about that for a second. So, this was like a huge rabbit hole. I researched the history of cozy games. And so, of course, cozy games, like we said, it's existed for a long time, Harvest Moon, et cetera, et cetera. But the term or the genre really didn't start until, honestly, not Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing 2020,
Hmm.
New Horizons, COVID pandemic stuff. I know that sounds surprising. I was kind of surprising to me because I was like, well, but all these cozy games existed, and that is
I know.
true. It's true, but as a genre, as a community, it didn't really exist until then. And if you think about how many people, it was like I think it was over 45 million people bought Animal Crossing. There's people buying Animal Crossing who had never played any other video game before. Okay, during COVID, because it just took off like that. And so because of that, you know, it almost created this whole new market of customers because now all of a sudden you have millions of people who just picked up Animal Crossing. They're not really playing Call of Duty or, shooters or anything like that. And now they're saying, what's next? And so I actually found something very interesting. This is from steamdb.com, which is a Steam database. Um, and I'm going to pull up a little graph. Look at this graph.
I'm curious before you even
Yeah.
pull that up, like where because I'm going to talk about Doki Doki Literature
Uh-huh.
Club
Yeah.
at some point. I just wonder where, because I also think about like I don't play narrative adventure games so much. Like the closest thing I think about is like Night in the Woods.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's
That
got
counts
cozy.
technically. It's a
It seems
technically that
cozy,
is kind of like a dark cozy game, which we're talking
and
about a little bit.
but I wonder if like visual novels. God, there we go.
Yeah,
Visual novels probably fall in this category too.
they
So I
do.
wonder if any of those are on that list.
Well, and here's what's interesting. So let's pull up the stats. So games tagged as cozy genre on Steam in 2020, there was only 15 released that were tagged as cozy, and every year since then, it's been on a huge upward trajectory to the point where this year the year's not even over, and we're at 366. And so we're talking about a genre that is literally brand new. And yes, like you said, there's games that have existed that are considered cozy this whole time, like since the 80s. There's been cozy games, but this is what I mean by like cozy games as a community, right? So these are
Yeah.
people that like are new to games or are just this is basically all they play. And so and you can play other things too, but you can just see by the Steam releases that there's a huge uptick. And also in 2019, 2020 was the first year of the Wholesome Direct, and it had
Yeah.
20,000 25,000 viewers or so in 2020. This
I'm
year the
curious.
Wholesome Direct 5 years later had 5 million viewers.
God bless America.
So this is
Wow.
something.
God bless the
This is
cozy
something.
gamers. They showed up. They want more.
Thank
You
you,
can
Rabbit, with
add.
the resubscription. Couple cuties criticizing and critiquing contemporary cozy console content. I love an alliteration. So thank you, Rabbit, for that. But yeah, this is kind of crazy. So they went from 25,000 viewers of the Wholesome Direct to 5 million viewers. So what we're talking about, what I realized when we came up with this topic of darkness and cozy games, I didn't realize how much this is actually discussed, because this is like all this stuff is trying to be figured out right now with this genre. This is like a brand new genre. Devs are like new to this genre. The community's new. And so people are trying to figure out this right now. That's what we're figuring out for them, Jerica.
We're gonna figure it out.
um, and so it's kind of crazy. So, like you just mentioned a couple actually, though, but what I was curious if you could think of any games that are cozy, but you felt had some kind of darkness to it.
Well, yeah. So here's the deal. One of my favorite games. This isn't one in this category. I mean, it's sort. No, it's not. But Inscription. I
Oh,
love. I love the reason I'm gonna bring this up because I'm gonna talk about Doki Doki Literature Club in
hmm,
a second. Um, Inscription's like in my top 5 games of all time. Like I don't know where it ranks just
yeah.
yet.
You want me to play it?
We're gonna
Yeah, we're gonna do
officially.
have to just stream.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think me and you
yeah,
come back to this place right
yeah.
here and
Okay.
play this game. Um, but it's one of my favorite games because it's if you've never played in chat, if you've never played, don't look up anything about it. That's all I'm gonna say. But like, I love a game where people tell you don't look up anything about it because I know I'm always gonna be surprised for what I like. It's not what I think it is, right? So I love those types of games. I don't want to be spoiled by it. I know what I need as a gamer to in taking content. I know for me what I would need to be warned of. And I think about Inscription, I didn't have any of those warnings, right? And I didn't need them. Um, but Doki Doki Literature Club, same thing. People were telling me, don't look up anything about
Yeah.
this game. It's creepy. But I'm like, it looks like a lot of like anime girls. Is this a visual novel?
Right.
And that's what it is. So of course, I'm all up into that kind of situation, those types of games. I love the mystery. And I started playing it and I remember it has this is me not stating facts here because I barely remember. I remember it having some like trigger warning, like this is gets pretty wide. I forgot the verbiage, but like, hey, this gets pretty dark. And I was just like,
Yeah.
okay. But I'm like, it's anime girls, and
Hmm.
how dark could it be? Let's see how dark this gets. So I started playing it. And of course, like it went down a rabbit hole that I didn't expect.
Yeah. It gets
I was
crazy.
fine as a gamer, but like someone that might be put off by that, I think they could have done a better job with the warning, which I think with the DLC and the new version that you can play on consoles now, I think has those options to remove that stuff from the game. Yeah,
There's
I
or at
know.
least give some kind of warnings. Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know what I was signing up for, even though with the warnings, like I think it's really important to be specific with the type of content you have. But what sucks is I think you can have that same kind of surprise without having self-harm like specifically be a part of your game uh as a not a jump scare, but a narrative like came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's different types of topics you could use where that wouldn't be as triggering. I think they could have taken another dark route. Like, Josh, you can just get the dark web, someone hacking my game, and that's enough for me. That stuff, so, I don't know
It's
why,
weird,
but it's
right?
always weird,
Yeah.
creepy, and I will play it.
Kojima
There's like,
style.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
that stuff so much. Um, but when it starts taking situations like self-harm, like as a not a jump scare, that's the wrong way to describe it, but as a pivot in the game, that's a little too much and that needs to be very transparent with people.
I
But I
think
think you can
so,
have
yeah.
fun with cozy being scary and dark. I
Yeah.
just think you could do it in better ways
And so
than Doki
that's,
Doki Literature Club did it.
I pulled up some
Just
examples
one
of
part of
this.
that game. There was one aspect.
Yeah.
The other stuff it nails really well, but there's just like I'm just like, you know, we could have not had that in the game.
I'm definitely that's I think that's what we can all agree on like already. Like the takeaway is that you can have these things, but it needs to be disclosed. Like at least a content warning or something that can pop up that could alert you to it, so that you're aware of it going in, for some people. But I actually have some interesting examples of that that I've pulled, and I have some quotes too. This is a little more research heavy. This topic, I'm pretty good. Me and you are both good at yapping just off the top of our head, but I did a lot of research on this, and so one thing that I found interesting. Did you play Dredge at all?
I got about 6 to 8 hours in, and actually just
Yeah,
I texted Kayla about it
yeah,
recently. I was like, maybe we should revisit this game for
yeah.
October.
Hey, so Dredge is interesting because it's not intended to be a cozy game, okay? But it started picking up a big cozy audience because the gameplay loop
It's
itself
a tiny boat.
has that kind of that thing that the cozy people like, the quiet aspect of like the management parts and like the driving around. There's a cozy aspect to it, okay?
Meeting villagers.
But so Polygon did a little interview with the developer, and Alex Ritchie said, quote, if you had asked during development whether I thought Dredge would appeal to fans of cozy games, I probably would have said no, he said. Now, though, I think you can get that experience from it. So I think this is an interesting example because even though it was not intended to be a cozy game, it ended up picking up a lot of that audience. But as you can see in some of these clips, there's some spooky stuff to it. There a lot of people that deal with thalassophobia, which is like deep water kind of fear stuff,
Mm.
and there's like some monsters and stuff in it. This did keep some of them away from it, and so this is interesting because due to player feedback, they actually updated the game where you can do a they call it, what is it called, a passive mode, where it makes none of the enemies do any kind of harm to you or like whatsoever. Like none of the sea monsters are like monsters anymore. And so I thought that was a really interesting example of a game that is basically a dark cozy game, but it wasn't supposed to be. They were just making a game like that they wanted to make, and
Yeah.
it kind of fell into the cozy category on accident.
They should have known that
And
was gonna do that though.
yeah.
Anytime you have there's a great video I shared. I can't wish I could remember the content creator, but they made like a video about tiny trucks. We need more tiny trucks in
Oh, you
games.
did share something about that.
Listen, it's a tiny boat in this game.
You should have
Anything that's a
known.
tiny vehicle that you're maneuvering top down, you know,
You should have
that's
known.
a cozy experience. Tiny trucks, tiny boats, they're cozy.
They
They
should
should
have
have
known.
known.
They should have known. And so I
That's
thought that was so
interesting.
interesting.
They sort of adapted to what the audience was. They got new audience like they did not expect, and
Yeah.
they changed up the game for to include people that want that kind of
And I
experience.
think
I
this
think that's
is
amazing.
going to where like one of my points is where like this is such a market where there's all these people looking, they're hungry for cozy games. And they're even trying to they're playing Dredge because like they're like, give me something, because
I need
they see
more.
something cozy in there, but it's like not quite. And so I think it's interesting the developer adapted to kind of their thing. And so that I thought that was like just really interesting. Um and then have you ever played uh Chicory as well?
Yep.
Because Chicory is another game where they are really known for having a lot of built-in accessibility features,
Yeah.
because you can adjust even the sounds, like the wet sounds of the paintbrush. You could take that out, but you can have content warnings before, because there's some discussion of depression and stuff like that. And so you can turn on in the settings content warnings. This is what we've been talking about tonight. Maybe you give people an option. So you can turn on content settings in Chicory, to kind of explain like that there's a scene that you can skip coming up. Same with Iconfell, which I don't know if you played that. That's what I have B-roll running of right now. But Iconfell had some sensitivity readers read through it, and they also went through and had like a lot of um, different accessibility options that people could access to give you a little heads up. Very specific, like right before you get to those parts, they'll tell you like, hey, this next part maybe contains mentions of this or that, and you can skip those parts if you want to. And so I don't know if you've ever played it, but it's another interesting one.
I never got too far into it, but yeah.
Now,
Uh oh, go
this
ahead.
this is a side story, and I'm not even going to get into the story. This is a teaser.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
what I'm going to do
Tease
for everyone.
me.
I'm going to talk to more about the end of the game because this was such a research heavy episode that I didn't want to just be blabbing research stuff all night. And so I have a document with like a lot of articles that I used to like find a lot of these stories, and we're going to share it on the Discord. And it just has a lot of things about darkness and cozy games in general. If you want to read more about it, because this is an ongoing topic. But there's an interesting story I found that I just think is fascinating. When I was reading on a site called Can I Play That? It's an accessibility site. It's a really cool site. If you go to Can I Play That? They do reviews based on accessibility. So whether it's a physical or emotional accessibility needs, it's basically reviews focused around that and accessibility features in games. And when I was looking at the Chicory one, it said this article may be deleted at some point. We realized the issue with it. I was like, what? And
Huh.
what it is, and there's this whole thing about this person in the accessibility space who her name was Susan Banks. And there's this whole thing. She basically passed away, and Able Gamers did this whole thing about this community member that passed away. And they made like an award based on her, like all this stuff, but she didn't exist. It came out later that this other person who was writing for Able Games created a fictional partner and was like acting as like two different people at once, essentially. And was like tricking people and had like social media
What?
accounts and like all this stuff. And the Susan Banks lady like did not exist. It's crazy. It's this crazy story within the cozy game community. And so I'm not going to get the whole story now because it's just too wild, but check out in the Discord in the JK Games channel. I'm going to post a document that has some stuff about that. It's just insane.
What?
Yeah. I had never heard about it. It all came out last year, actually. Um, Another game that I really wanted to touch on tonight before we kind of wrap things up on the dark cozy discussion, because there was a lot of discussion about this game, is Spiritfarer. Did you ever play Spiritfarer?
It's on my list.
Okay.
It just I haven't been able to get myself into a spot where I know I want to cry.
Yeah. So I have not beat it. I have played probably about through half of it. Rabbit says yes. So Spiritfarer is a game about, and you can see the trailer that's playing for those who are watching live. You can see that it's got a cartoony animated look and you're on a boat and there's these little animal kind of people you're talking to. But the whole game is basically you're kind of like, I guess essentially almost like the Grim Reaper or you're helping spirits cross into the next world over the river. And so these different animal kind of creatures, they might not have been animals like in real life or whatever, but this is how they're presenting in the spirit realm. And you're kind of dealing with their kind of issues and learning their backstory and moving them to the other side. Okay. And so what's interesting about this game that was kind of controversial though, this was a pretty popular cozy game, but it does not contain any official content warnings. And to the point where fans started making like, there's a spreadsheet where fans took each spirit that has helped and made their own content warnings for people that are like streaming the game so they could warn people ahead of time because there's some kind of intense themes in here. And so there was a post I found on the R Cozy Games subreddit by user Tiny Stalker. I'm going to read it real quick. And this is what they said. They said, I don't see how Spiritfarer is anyway a cozy game. It is a game about death, covering disturbing and upsetting themes like cancer, cheating, Alzheimer's, self-harm, etc. If anything, it feels more like one of those horror games that tries to look cute at first, but instead of abject horror, is just depressing. Playing Spiritfarer didn't give me any sense of comfort. It showed me a bunch of mostly likable characters that lived miserable lives and died sick and in pain. I don't think I've ever played or watched a game before that left me feeling this empty inside. And so that was a crazy topic. And this thread has, I'm including this thread in the document as well, but this thread has a lot of responses. Some people were agreeing with that poster, saying like, yeah, there's no content warning and it's kind of intense. Other people's were more saying like, I think these are good themes to explore in this environment. And this game actually helped me. This game changed my life. This game changed my outlook on life. And I wanted to read one response in particular, um, which was by, let's see, this person was you. What? Okay, then. As someone who struggles with some of these things, I actually find games who deal with these subjects directly more cozy. It's comforting to me in a way to see emotions shown in such a raw manner, like I'm not alone in feeling these things, and there's no shame in expressing these feelings. I get why you would feel this way though, because it definitely is a heavy subject, and while it may comfort some, it may do the opposite for others as well. I think that what defines a cozy game is subjective. And
Truly is.
and I think that is getting this. I pulled that comment particularly because I think that is getting to where I'm landing with all this
Well, funny
tonight.
enough, I mentioned to our chat, I was like, I forgot already what game Rabbit mentioned. Was this a cozy game? And I was like, you know what? What was it? Astroneer. I was like, sure, if you're having a cozy time, it's a cozy game to you. Like, for
Yeah,
real, Doom Eternal, to some extent, is sort of cozy for me. I can just mindlessly go in and just like mow down some demons and have a
I could see
sick
that. I totally
soundtrack.
could see
Like,
that.
it's cozy for me. So yeah, it is very subjective. And in case with Spiritfarer, like, I haven't even played the game, but I can read the synopsis, and like, obviously the last commenter had a lot of great points, and I would love to have some specific warnings, but like, the game is about death.
Yes.
And I don't know how deep it sounds like they go pretty deep on a couple of those
Hmm.
um types of scenarios surrounding death. So I don't know, like, if they went too far. I guess that's hard to say. Like, what needs to be up front as warnings, but also not take away from the game's surprise, like, and not even surprise, like narrative um surprises, I guess, and not just for a jump scare or like aha sort of
Yeah, I'm
moments,
glad
but
you
really,
mentioned that earlier when you were talking about Whisper of. No, I forgot. Whisper of the what's it called?
I keep calling it the whisper of the
Whisper
museum
of the
for some
heart,
reason.
something like that. Uh, you mentioned that where a game shouldn't be using self harm or something like that for just the sake of a shock factor or
Yeah, 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 yeah.
a jump topic like that. And like you said, um, I think you're really onto something here. You're about to solve it. Okay, I think you're onto something because I think that you can talk about these things. It is the context, like how are you approaching the subject? Like you said, this game is advertised as being about death. I mean, you're literally ferrying people to the other side. They don't content warning about the specific aspects of that, but it is, you kind of do know a little bit about what you're getting into with the game. Um, Rabbit says you can play as a cat. I actually did not know that. That's a two-player game. You can play as a
What?
cat. Also, Rabbit says a beautiful game. Same with Celeste, talking about real topics that are deemed taboo. So I think what's interesting, I think this is what we're getting to. I agree that cozy is subjective. Like you said, Doom could be cozy to you. To
Mm-hmm.
most people, they probably would not consider Doom a cozy game, but I can see how it could be cathartic. Uh, just like you said, just kind of zoning out. Destiny is probably cozy to you sometimes when it's not
No,
pain. No,
never.
now it's just pain. It's pain. It's
It's
pure pain.
agony.
And so I think what is interesting, there's what I liked about this topic is there's still growing pains in this genre because there's so many people that are new to gaming. And so they're relying on just the word cozy. Okay. They're saying cozy game and they're thinking like no stress, no combat,
Some people
no
are probably automatically thinking
right.
farming.
Yeah, it could be farming. It just could be like, I just don't want to think about anything sad or anything that's gonna, upset me. And it has been brought up in that thread that some people play cozy games as an escape for some of those situations, whether it be assault, domestic violence, something like that, right? They might look to cozy games for an escape. And so it might be very surprising if you're in that setting and suddenly maybe one of those topics comes up. And so
Well,
I
and
do,
everybody.
yeah.
Oh, good point. Well, before
Yeah.
you, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I
No,
have
go
a
ahead.
really interesting topic, like, or point of view.
Mhm.
what kind of movies are you getting cozy to watch? Like, do you get cozy to watch a
This is
scary
good.
flick? Do you get cozy to watch
Mm,
a crime documentary? I know one of my good friends, all she watches is these wild crime documentaries,
yeah,
listens to crime podcasts,
yeah.
and that is the way she relaxes. So, like, it's gonna be hard to say, like, what can like, it's the same thing. It's hard to sort of put a label on this game as considered a cozy game. It's damaging itself, Josh.
That's a
I think a
very
lot of
good point.
it is. Like,
I like the
who
movie idea because I can think of the same kind of examples where some people's cozy movies or shows that they watch, like on the background or something, wouldn't be. It's not like a Studio Ghibli movie or something. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's a good point. I think it's just interesting because I think people were talking about this in the cozy game subreddit as well. Like maybe this term is too much of an umbrella, and that's why one of the questions
Mm,
was should should dark cozy be a separate genre? Should things
yes.
have to? You think it should just be a separate genre? Maybe.
I want
Um,
more of it. I love a good cozy, "Oh my god, that took a turn." I want more experiences like that. So, but I would love to know, hey, these exist, but also I want to protect people that are just wanting their cozy game. But I think it's got to be said. I don't think there's a good way around it, but I think it has to be a disclaimer like, hey, this is also a cozy slash horror
I think
game.
at the very least you could just have that like on your Steam listing or eShop listing or whatever it is, right?
A tag,
At the
right?
very least,
In the
or a
summary,
little screen when you boot it up. I think maybe Doki Doki Panic Club. Maybe that's what they added. There, I don't know if I'd have to look. I don't know if there's options, but
they've
there's
added
some stuff
options
you
to
can.
like
Okay, options.
remove
Yeah. Okay.
content
Okay.
now from the game
Some games,
completely.
it'll just come up as like a little screen that says, some of this content could be dealing with this. I think that's okay. Books do that, right? Maybe the first page might have a little warning. Um, And so I think we're still like trying to figure all this out with content warnings, with what can be in a cozy game that's dark. I think dark cozy, I like the idea of it being its own genre though.
I do too.
Um,
I'm
because
all for it.
then maybe if you just had something tag as dark cozy, you wouldn't have to. I still think content warnings are always great. I'm not going to say don't put content warnings, but I think you could get a little more slack where like
Or at
if you're
least the
marketing
funneling
something
of
as being
people.
dark, yeah, if
Yeah.
you're marketing something as being dark, people know what to expect a little more. And I think that, like you said with Silk Song earlier, talking about tonight, I think that options to adjust things to your tastes, I'm always going to advocate for that. So I think that's the
Yeah.
ideal situation. Um, but yeah, I don't know if we solved it, but
I mean, I
we came
say
up with something.
anybody can add the genre of cozy to your game. Anybody could technically do it.
You're
I
right.
but I think there are parameters that we've all discussed this evening that tie to a cozy game. And there's when I think cozy game, there's things I'm expecting from a cozy game. I don't actually think of Doom Eternal, but on the flip side, like I could consider that cozy. But like in the gaming space, I think there's parameters, and I think anybody could flip the cozy game upside down and do something else with it. Like there's a lot of experiences that can be still in the cozy environment, cozy gameplay loops and mechanics that we love. You can organize a house, you can unpack, but also there's Satan in the bathroom, you know?
Yeah,
Like I
could
want the
be.
best of both worlds.
Man says cozy games slide in with podcast games for me, for sure. Like something you could do while
Yeah.
doing something else. I could see that for sure. Um,
Not a
and
huge
so
challenge.
I think, do you have any, this is in closing on kind of this though, I wanted to open it up like for you personally, you don't have to share, but if you had any idea of like something that maybe like a personal kind of reason why you would maybe want a content warning.
Yeah, I think it's truly like I try to think even with Doki Doki, I knew that based on some of the comments and the descriptions, like I knew what I was sort of getting in for. I didn't realize how drastic it was gonna, in what ways it was gonna happen. For me though, like I appreciate like a disclaimer. Like I do like to have that, but also I'm a little bit of the side that get the genre in there or like what it is, but also like I do like a like inscription like I want the story to be preserved. I
Yeah.
also don't want to be spoiled on things. So like if the game's scary, it's hard to land. There's a difference between like scary versus true life things that might be triggering to people.
Yeah.
I'm
I know
more
what
of
you
the
mean.
lines of like I like demons, ghosts, hauntings,
Mhm.
people getting like as far as like mutilation, Josh, let's talk mutilation,
Mutilation.
guts, gore,
Yeah, yeah.
all that stuff doesn't nothing really truly bothers me to be
Mhm.
really transparent, but I think there's really nothing out there that could probably get to me. Um unless it's a situation where they don't disclaim it and it's something like
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
LGBTQ like and like honestly like self-harm stuff like in a game that don't make sense like why it's up and happening at this point. So like and I think we see that from even the games that I've just discussed this evening, but it's got to be said.
I think it was interesting. Life is Strange. I don't think they have a content warning. Um, you remember in the first one, there's some, you know, there's that building scene, the rooftop. I don't think
Yeah, I
there's a
mean,
content warning, but like you said, it's handled in a way that's not. It is shocking, but it's not like it's not there
it's
just to
handled
be
with care.
shocking,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, like it ties into the narrative. Um There's a game that I hear people talk about that I don't know how deep it goes, but it might be some shock value. I don't know. I'm not speaking facts here.
Yeah.
But you ever heard of mouth washing? People are bringing this up, and I'm hearing about it.
I don't think so.
Okay, that might be an interesting
Okay. I
situation.
don't think I've
It's
heard of that
definitely
one.
not cozy based
Yeah.
on the cover
Disturbing,
art.
maybe. Okay.
There's some games out there like that, and I don't
Yeah.
know how far this one goes, but I'm sure Cayman knows a few of
There's
these
a lot of
games.
games like we didn't even get into that, but like, on itch.io that like a lot of like really indie games that people really explore a lot of darker topics, which I'm into, like when you have like artistic vision, you want to explore these things. But I think we can all agree that maybe it would be best to at least give some people, even if you're not like don't want to spoil it necessarily. I know it's like a fine line between
It's
spoiling the
tough.
plot versus whatever, but at least just say like, hey, there could be stuff in here that's disturbing for
There's gonna be
people, you know.
disturbing, shocking
If
things.
and if in your mind maybe there's a topic that might be disturbing to you, even if you don't know what it is, maybe avoid it, you know. For
I'm
me,
probably the worst person to ask
it's
because
weird,
I'm
like
just so numb to a lot
for
of
game, yeah,
things.
for me too. Like I'm not really. We're just desensitized Americans, as far as violence, gore, all that stuff. It doesn't
You name it.
really bug me too much. Um, I had some personal stuff a few years ago, as far as like existential, like almost like fear of death kind of stuff. Like I had some like panic attacks related to that, and this was a couple of years ago. And obviously, like talking to people helps, but it's not in the sense of like Spiritfarer is a good example because this is the whole game is about dealing with death and like non-existence and stuff, and that's kind of what sent me into a spiral. Not the game, but that concept. But I can play those games without content warnings, and I don't know, when I see it, like that one user was saying, when it's explored in a way like that where there's like an artistic vision to it, it almost helps me more than anything, because even though it's a
Yeah.
topic that maybe caused me a lot of discomfort just in my own mind when I'm experiencing it externally, or like someone else exploring that, or like getting to like explore that in a different context, it doesn't really bother me the same way. And that's not the same for everyone. Some people, if they have a trigger, like if they see it, is triggering. That's why
I
it's called
mean,
a trigger.
even
But
spiders, right? Like,
yeah, that's a good example.
and I,
Arachnophobia.
well, here's where I think I've landed. And I think I got a simplistic, hey, this is what needs to happen. If you're going to deal with any topic can, that deals with, that can impact any kind of mental well-being, there's a category of topics. If you are going to have these in your game, you just got to handle them with care. Just handle it with care, put out disclaimers, but handle it with care. Do you hold people accountable for doing that? There's not really a way, but I also don't want to discourage game makers from exploring making really cool games. But if
I
I
agree.
think to make a really cool game, you got to handle those topics with care.
I think you solved it. And you and Travman out here, because Travman says maybe a content warning with a spoiler tag. Now that's something. Okay.
Mm.
Because then like us, we're maybe like me or you maybe be like, okay, there's some kind of content, but I'm probably okay. We'll just go in without seeing it. Then we don't get spoiled. But other people might be like, well, if this
I'm
certain topic is in the game, I'm not going to play it. So let me check what that is. Yeah. Hey, we
we
solved
solved it. How long did it take us?
Amazing. About 30 minutes, probably, not bad. Bill us, someone.
Yeah. Yeah. Steam,
Team Cherry.
we figured it out. They need to add some options for me.
They need options.
They need options. We need this little ghost guy that Josh has created
Yeah, I want
or
to be a
will
ghost
create
bug
for
and
only
fly around.
$80,000
$80,000.
so I can look at this world and hear the music, hear the bugs.
I think so. I think that's about it really for the topic of darkness and cozy games. I think you've summarized it well there, your last closing statements. I think that people want to actually see some of these things being explored. Kayla said she's back. Hello. We solved the whole problem while you're gone. You'll have to catch the
Yeah.
VOD.
Yeah.
But basically, we think that dark themes should be explored in cozy games, but we do think people should be aware of what they're getting into, possibly with a spoiler tag on the content warning. And we think that if possible, we should have options where you could skip certain parts. Accessibility options are always something we advocate for. And so, yeah, we solved it here tonight, the whole issue.
Look at us.
I did want to point out, so I am going to upload a document of references because I know this was kind of a reference heavy episode. It was kind of a important.
Well, we
themes,
need our
though.
facts.
Yeah,
we need our facts straight. This is like if you were making a game that had these topics, you need to do a lot of research, handle it with care.
I have a lot of articles we did not even touch on because this is supposed to just kind of start the conversation. But this is such a big topic that is still ongoing right now, even though we solved it. And not everyone's going to know we solved it. And so
we got to tell the world.
In the Discord, check out, maybe Kayla could post a link to Discord or Rabbit. We'll put Rabbit to work. In the Discord, check out the JK Games channel. I'm going to put a reference document that has a lot of things on this topic. And one of the interesting things, which I'm going to read you a quick excerpt from, was a medical journal that I found, a medical journal on efficacy of content warnings. And part of this, it lays out pros and cons, of course. That's what these kind of journals do. But from the critics' point of view, it says critics argue that avoidance behavior, i.e., opting out, is at odds with evidence-based practices for treating post-traumatic stress disorder and anxiety disorders. However, whether trigger warnings will increase avoidance behaviors at all is theoretically contentious. One possibility is that trigger warnings increase anxiety and apprehension about upcoming content and therefore promote the avoidance of warned of material. I thought that was very interesting. I didn't read the whole paper. This is literally a medical journal, but this topic is something that is like being researched. And so, we're on the case as well, but
maybe we need to document what we discussed here tonight and put out an article, Josh.
Maybe, yeah, we could do our own journal.
Let's do it. Let's do some journalism.
We could do some journalism. Yeah. Because I think, like I said, I was surprised how active this conversation was even now on the Cozy Games subreddit, on multiple articles on Polygon, The Guardian, all kinds of sites and places talking about darkness and cozy games. I thought this was just something we made up, but this is something that a lot of people are talking about right now because there's just so many new users to the cozy game space and everyone's trying to figure it out still. Devs are still trying to figure it out. And so as long as devs are listening, like the whisper of the something devs, as long as they're still listening, I think that's a good start.
I agree.
All right.
Josh, killed it, man. I love this topic.
It was a good one.
Let's go. Doom Eternal is my cozy game.
Yeah, I can see it though. What's a lot of my cozy games is like a lot of music rhythm games like Beat Saber and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's like hectic, I get into
and
flow
you get
state.
Sweaty.
You know what flow state is? I'll probably do a video on this. It was first identified with Tetris, where people playing Tetris would like be hypnotized basically. To
Yeah.
me, as a potentially undiagnosed, whatever, ADHD kind of thing, when I really get into flow state in like a rhythm game such as Beat Saber, it is one of the only moments that I can experience pure clarity where there's like not a lot of things going on in my mind. It's like I can just, I'm not even thinking about what notes to hit because it's almost like muscle memory. And so it's just like my brain's turned off, but while I'm conscious. And so to me, music rhythm games are like my cozy games because it totally turns my brain off.
By just putting you in a locked in
Yeah, because I can't be
trance.
thinking of what I'm eating for dinner. Oh, what am I going to edit today? Oh, what's this video going to be about? Oh, JK Games coming up. Oh, I can't think about any of that. I have to just I can't even think about the things happening on the screen or I'll mess up. I just have to like totally, it's like a Zen state. Like I have to clear my
Yeah.
mind completely and just like not just have my eyes react to everything and just not think about anything that's happening. And so music games are my cozy games actually.
Now we need a cozy shirt.
Oh,
Dark
you
cozy.
gotta work on
Flow
it. Dark cozy shirt coming up
Dark
next,
cozy.
everyone. You heard it here.
Yeah.
After a backlog of Doom.
We be dark and cozy over
Kayla
here.
says I do that a lot with several cozy games such as Stardew.
Might be onto something else. The type of mental state you're in when you start playing. That's considered cozy. Maybe that's the unlock. All right, I'm gonna quit getting us down a rabbit hole. This was really fun.
We were trying to wrap up here. So why don't you talk about the next video game book club pick?
So we have landed on, once again, Titanfall 2. Kayla's in here, about time. Kayla's in the chat now, but this is one of Kayla's favorite games of all time. Might be her fave. Might be number 2. I don't really know. It's one of those. It's 1 or 2. But she has been so excited for us to revisit this. And to the point that we were talking about earlier, like, there's a lot of games to play. We got Borderlands at the end of the week. Titanfall 2 is a short game, and it's something that we can dive into quickly. And we're starting with Titanfall 2 because the first one was just multiplayer, didn't have a campaign. But apparently the campaign, this story in 2 is superb.
I'm very excited.
And the gameplay's fun. Yeah, so I'm really excited to be able to say I have participated.
Kayla says 6 or 7 hours. Easy.
Yeah, that's doable.
Yeah.
So we can wrap that up in a couple of weeks, and then me and Kayla are looking at the horizon beyond that too.
Horizon
and you know what? Horizon Zero Dawn. Don't worry, we're not doing that. Would take. We think Tears of the Kingdom's taking me forever. I know. But October is going to bring a lot of spooky games to our horizon, and we have some ideas for some live streams. So it's time to put the hot dog suit back on, and maybe, just maybe, I might be in my Hornet costume. I'm working on a Hornet costume.
Nice. Homemade?
Yeah, Audrey's gonna help me print a mask.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So maybe Hornet shows up.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Sounds good.
That's the plans.
Well, thanks again for having me fill in for Kayla tonight.
Yes, it was perfect.
Yeah, you can find me on everywhere at High Score Weekly on all the socials. And also here, usually producing. I know that was a little bit of a interesting topic tonight, but I appreciate all the chat and Discord questions that everyone submitted, and I think we really were onto something here. So
yeah,
thanks for all the participation from everyone. Yeah,
that and Silksong needs
Silksong needs accessibility. Okay,
it needs it.
But yeah, and so check us out back here next week, next Monday at 8 p.m. Central. And until then, have a good rest of your week, and we will catch you later.
Have a dark and cozy night. Goodbye.